Hey guys, I'm super excited to start my first project. As you guys probably already know, it's going to be a scarf, and it's going to be similar to the one that I showed you in the picture. It's super easy. It's just one stitch, so if I can do it, I know anybody can do it. And it's also super customizable, so you can make it as short as you want or as wide as you want, whatever you prefer. So first I have the yarn I'm using is this Loops and Threads yarn, and it's so soft. It's just really nice. Here, let me get it. See, it's got a nice texture to it. It's really nice. It'll be good for cool weather, cool temperatures, and yeah. In this project, we're going to be using 2 skeins of yarn, and depending how thick you want it, you can use 3 or 4. It all depends on what you want. I also just wanted to let you guys know that when you're starting a project with a brand new ball of yarn, you don't want to just grab a strand and cut it and start from there. So you really just want to make sure that you are grabbing the end of the yarn, and you can usually find it. It's like tucked in on one of the sides. So this yarn is a size 5, a weight 5, bulky. And for this project, it recommends you use an 8mm crochet hook. So I've got my yarn, which I showed you, and I've got my crochet hook. Here's my 8mm. You can see 8mm. All right, and other things you'll be using for this project is going to be a darning needle and a pair of scissors, but you won't be needing those until the end. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make a slip knot, and we're going to chain 125 chains. So let's make our slip knot. If you don't know how to make a slip knot and you want a more in-depth video, you can check out my website, the basics page. There's a good video there for you to learn. So here's my slip knot. We're gonna make 125 chains. You can go as long as or as short as you want. It's based on your preference, but this is going to be how long it's going to be. Okay, so there's 4, and I'll meet back with you guys as soon as I have 125 stitches. All right, so I have my 125 chains, and it's very long, and I want it to be long because when I get to the end, I'm going to be connecting this so it's an infinity scarf. But you certainly don't have to do that. This is just what I like. So I usually just like to put it in a circle, my chain, and see if it's gonna be long enough to fit around my neck comfortably as an infinity scarf. So you have your chains, and then what you're going to do is you're going to do chain 1 more. So it'll be 126 chains. And so to start your first row, you're going to skip this first chain and go into the next with a single crochet. Okay, then we're going to go to the next chain in a single crochet. And I do have a more in-depth video on how to do a single crochet on my basics page if you want to head over there and check that out before you start this scarf. So we're going to be doing this all the way to the end, and I'll meet you at the end. Okay, so I'm just finishing up my first row of single crochets. I just have a few more here. Okay, and this one is going to be my last one for this row. Alright, so got my first row of single crochets. Now I want to chain one and turn my work and we're going to be doing another row of single crochets. And this is pretty much it, guys. You're just gonna be at the end of every row chaining one and turning your work and going down the row. Now you might want to keep count to make sure that you have 125 stitches. That chain one is just your turning stitch, so you want to make sure that you always skip the chain closest to the hook and go into this second one here. See, I'm not going to go there. I'm going to go in here, and also I'm going to go under both these loops for all the remainder of my rows and just single crochet like normal. But I'm just going to keep going underneath both of those loops and single crocheting all the way to the end. And you can do as many rows as you want. I believe mine is about 14 rows, and so when I get to that point, I will meet back up with you guys and tell you what to do next. Hi guys, I just wanted to show you what happens when you run out of your ball of yarn. So I'm at the end of my first ball of yarn, and to attach my new ball of yarn, there's a couple different ways you can do it. You can either just tie the end of this strand with what you have left here and then weave in the ends, or you can do it this other way that I'm about to show you. So just take out that yarn, and when you're going to do it this way, you want to make sure that you leave enough yarn here so that you have enough to weave in your ends when you're finished. So here's what we're gonna do. So I'm on my 8th row here. I have my next ball of yarn, which should work out to be around 14 rows total. And what we're gonna do is we're going to act like we're just gonna go into the next stitch here and act like we're doing a regular single crochet and pull up our yarn. And then when we get to this point, we're going to take our new yarn in here. We're gonna make sure we leave enough yarn, like enough of a tail here. We're gonna create just a loop, and we're just gonna attach that and pull that through. And then that is what we do. We're just gonna keep working now onto our new ball of yarn. So that's all there is to it, to add your new ball of yarn. And then when you're finished, you're gonna have 2 strands here, 2 tails, and just at the end, we're just gonna weave those in so that you won't even see them. All right, welcome back, guys. All right, so here you can see that I've gotten all of my rows. I did have 14 rows, and it's very long. It's folded in half here. So now I want to attach my 2 ends. So you can see here are my 2 ends. I haven't taken off my hook yet here. So this was my last single crochet. So what we can do to attach these 2 ends is we're going to take a long piece of yarn here from my working yarn. Just make sure it's long enough. I don't know, I'm just gonna overestimate. And I'm gonna cut that.
Okay. And then we're just going to just fasten off here. I'm just going to pull that through. I cut a lot off, so just pull that through, pull that nice and tight. Okay. So now we're basically just going to be sewing the ends here. So let me get the end of my yarn. Here's the end of my yarn, and I have a darning needle right here. I'm just going to attach this. Okay. We're just going to start sewing those ends together and making sure it's as even as possible. All right. So we're gonna go in right here. Pull that through. And we're gonna go over here. And just keep sewing along. It doesn't have to be extremely perfect. You just want to get it even. Okay, so we have that whole, both ends sewed together. That's what it'll look like. So this is gonna be the wrong side of our scarf, obviously. So you won't be able to see that when you're wearing it, when it's flipped around the other side. It'll just look like it was stitched together. All right, and then next what I'm going to do is we have a couple tails that we need to sew in. So with these two here, if you have them next to each other like this, what I like to do is I just like to tie a knot, double knot it, and then I cut the ends. That's good enough for me because, again, you won't really be able to notice it. If there are any other experts out there that are watching and you guys have a better method, please feel free to let me know. Then I'm just going to cut those ends. Okay, and then when we attached the yarn, I know that we have to, remember I said we'll have to weave those ends in too. So here's where we attached the yarn. So we'll just have to weave these ends in. And again, this is just how I was taught, and I'm just gonna show you guys what I learned. Usually when you weave in ends, you barely notice it anyways. So as long as it doesn't come loose, then you're good. All right, so I have this. So what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of weave through these stitches. Just in and out. Pull the yarn through. And then just go back. Oh, I can get that in there. just in and out. Pull it through. And then what I do is I grab just like one stitch, pull it through partially, stick my needle through there, pull that through, creates like a knot, kind of. And then we just snip that end there. So you just want to weave it through enough times to make sure it won't come loose. So we'll grab our next tail. Try to get that through there. There we go. And we'll do the same thing over here. Just in and out. Sometimes it's a little tough to pull through. Let's give it a good little tug. Just weave anywhere you see fit. Okay, and we'll just grab this loop here. And knot it. Make sure that's good and tight. Just give it a tug. And we'll cut the end of that. All right, then we just want to flip it over. And there is your beautiful, easy infinity scarf. You did it. Great job, guys. I hope that this was helpful. And if you have any questions, please feel free to leave it in the comment section. And yeah.